really know who Nas is. If he,
No, but he knows.
my son can't touch one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
He reached out to Nas to actually,
Whoa.
I'm doing my chicken head right now because I really want him to get on this record.
I care about right now. I've been getting busy. I'm outside. I've been leading an example in a great way. You heard? I break that nigga.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 oh no, oh no.
If it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. He was so nice. He was so nice about him. How did he do that?
When the news broke that Nas openly checked Jim Jones, right as rumors started swirling about a flashy $100 million Roc Nation deal quietly falling apart, hip-hop stopped breathing for a second.
Let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard? And you want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
This wasn't just internet chatter or another loud moment for clicks. This felt calculated, perfectly timed, and way too personal to ignore. The timing made it sting even more. Jim had been everywhere.
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some like this where people were comparing when him and Jay was beating on him.
Doing podcast rounds, talking growth, talking power, talking numbers, moving like he finally reached a different tier.
I was just like, I'm where I'm at. I'm at the apex of what I do. You heard? So I'm talking about currently. You heard? Currently, nobody from my era really want to get busy or go and get into the booth with me right now, currently. This is a fact, Jack. You heard? If not, they would have stood up a long time ago and hollered at me.
Then out of nowhere, Nas steps in calm, unbothered, and flips the whole conversation without raising his voice, reminding everybody that legacy doesn't need announcements. This wasn't about one comment or one rumor anymore. This was pride, reputation, and decades of history colliding in public view.
Right now, anyone you
The real person.
Right now. And it ain't a money thing, but this is here. You heard? If you want to get busy, is the money on the line. Any one of y'all from my era. I care about right now.
And once fans caught on, it was clear this wasn't going to fade quietly, because when legends feel tested, hip-hop never lets it slide. The real spark came from whispers that Jim Jones was circling a massive $100 million deal with Roc Nation.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
Yeah, that's my young boy.
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my
right?
era, in my era too. I mean,
So to
well,
be compared-
yeah. Let me
That young kid out.
let me.
He was young and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard? And you want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there. I want to go down the line now because now we going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
And forget about the numbers. There's nothing that. There's never is me. Putting me up against anybody, I'm taking me every time. Every time.
Okay,
every
but
time. In all categories.
Say something though, Jim.
In every category,
Jim.
I get busy.
Nothing was signed, nothing was announced officially, but the rumor alone had people talking like it was already done. In hip-hop, perception moves faster than paperwork, and once that number hit the timeline, expectations went through the roof.
Let me ask you a question, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well,
As far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he drew them. But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Mm-hmm. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit of run. But Nas always came up in the J and DMX and all these other people. Like, they never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear. So we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and stuff like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that. Like, I don't want that. I'm trying to tell you, I'm being honest. You want to get me? I'm being a fan. I'm telling you, the movie Belly was fire, but after that, he kind of lost me. I think we was way too much into the...
Jim didn't shut it down either. He leaned into the energy, moving like a man who finally caught the business respect he felt was overdue. Podcast after podcast, interview after interview, the message stayed the same.
How this goes, you ever heard of a Kofi list?
Yeah.
Yo, go back into your history and find out what happened between us and him. You dig? And I'm not trying to repeat history, but don't play with us when it comes to that, bro. We already went wild on them boys. You heard? We the ones that went wild on them boys, yeah?
Growth, evolution, power, ownership. He spoke like someone who had arrived at the table, not asking for a seat, but claiming one. Then things went quiet. No press release, no victory lap, no confirmation from Roc Nation at all. And that silence spoke louder than any headline. Fans started side-eyeing the situation, wondering how a deal that big could just vanish without a trace. That's when Nas stepped into the picture, not with an announcement, not with anger.
I'm put it like this. Hey, bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Y'all ain't people.
Yeah.
You be in the church house. You can't never Nas lyrics. Yeah, I don't know who told you that look. You all know you want that little stuff that you know what I'm saying?
But with that smooth, effortless energy that only comes from knowing exactly who you are. The timing was brutal. Right as the deal chatter faded, Nas made it clear he wasn't impressed by rumors, numbers, or imagined power moves.
Got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than that. We're all in your then and now.
Nobody from the diplomats but you.
I got to stick up for itself and meet me in a booth for something if we want to do something historical.
Nas say he don't do that no more. Nas say he don't do that.
Because he got $100 million. He's a very wealthy man. You heard he's a very smart businessman. I got a
Hold on. Jada,
I'm rapping at a high level. You better check my stats, bro. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. They sure. Right now, I'm batting around Nas right now rapping. Everybody.
At that point, the conversation shifted fast. This wasn't about contracts anymore. It became about credibility, about who really moves culture versus who talks motion. And once hip-hop smelled that disconnect, the debate was already locked in, loud, and impossible to walk back.
Let's get this right. I'm not mad. It's about the sportsmanship of the game. Right. I'm a very aggressive person, and I seem to get misconstrued when I'm talking my shit. I'm just talking my thing, you heard? Let me talk my shit because I am on the field. If anybody had a problem with that, they can meet me on the field. That is good boot. Anybody from that era. I can sing more Nas records than you right now, so you are capping. You are capping. That's what you do.
First of all, I'm 57 and I don't be singing no rap. I ain't singing no rap.
You see what I'm saying, Ocho? He don't even know about rap. He just doing this for the views to get Jim Jones on there to get him hot. I understand.
Once the spotlight was on him, Jim Jones didn't dodge it at all. He leaned straight into the moment and started talking like someone who felt untouchable right now. In his mind, this wasn't about the past or old trophies. This was about current motion, current visibility, and who's really outside today. He made it clear he wasn't trying to live off nostalgia. Jim kept stressing that he's active, he's visible, and he's leading by example.
Get him hard. You have to check the podcast face. Hey, this is the biggest podcast you ever been on. Hey, this is the biggest podcast you ever been. You know, this is not the way. Hold on.
I'm gonna pull a hole. Give me hold on, this is what I do. See when you feel it, you feel it. Then you feel it, I'm here. This is what I do. You said two pies. And setting you in the box, you can work with it. Just to remove young. I love it. You got top of me, bro. I'm talking. You're dealing with the wrong one, bro. Right here, bro. I really didn't. Hey, what you mean?
We hear him. You cannot talk to him. He might get out rap me. Don't let him talk me.
Don't nobody want to go to Club Shay Shay. Nobody want to buy no VIP tickets to that shit. Nobody rushing to go to that shit. When that no anything South Shay Shay. Hey, you gotta go talking.
He even doubled down, saying nobody from his era wants to get in the booth with him right now, because if they did, they would have already stepped up. That wasn't subtle at all. That was a challenge wrapped in confidence. Then came the numbers talk. Jim started pulling out Billboard stats, like courtroom evidence, ready to line them up and let them speak for him. He pushed the idea that feelings don't matter when statistics exist, and if comparisons were going to happen, then everything should be put on the table. At the same time, you could hear the frustration underneath the bravado. Jim didn't just want credit, he wanted acknowledgement. He wanted recognition for surviving, reinventing himself, and still being talked about in a game that rarely shows mercy to anyone long term.
Like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. Even something nice. Give us something nice about him. How did he do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you know? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, all right. It's like, the niggas don't used to have nervous with like B.I.G., Pac, right? Even cannabis, like Eminem, that makes you down. Be like, if we go at it, don't let me be hot. You know, so what I was saying. He's making like a Jim Jones, like women. You're like, exactly. That's part of it. That's why you want to give a go deserve a game right now. I respect his hustle. I respect his hustle.
And that's where the tension really locked in, because once you start measuring yourself against legends in public, especially with charts and numbers, you invite scrutiny you can't control. From that moment on, every word Jim said was getting dissected, replayed, and debated line by line. That's when Nas stepped in, and he didn't need to shout, rant, or drag it out. There was no long speech, no emotional response, just a calm, almost amused tone that made everything Jim was saying sound way louder than it needed to be. That quiet confidence hit harder than any aggressive clapback ever could.
Reached out to Nas to actually,
Whoa!
I'm doing my trauma shit right now because I really want him to get on this record. Nah, but he took out a bunch of mutual friends and shit like that. Actually reached out to Nas. I actually sent him the record. I got a response from him, not personally, but through the friends that he gave him my number. I was told that he said he wanted to holler at me and shit like that he liked the record. That was what I was told.
One thing's for sure, this exchange reopened old wounds, reignited old debates, and proved once again that in rap, respect is the only currency that never loses value.
Everything besides Dipset, whatever before Dipset, just want to put that on the record. Like, Nas was absolutely one of my favorite rappers of all time, from when he did the barbecue when we was in high school, walking through the hallways and felt like he was him and shit, out like we was him. And you know, once you get into the pros, you know what it is, and you're on the same team. But I would love to do a record with him, as him being one of my favorites of all time. I think that's some really bucket list material for me on Word. So, you know, we'll see.
Nas didn't argue stats or jump into a back and forth about numbers. He didn't feel the need to defend his catalog or explain his impact. Instead, he let the moment speak for itself, basically laughing off the idea that deals, headlines, or podcast runs could suddenly rewrite history. The way he handled it made one thing clear. Legacy isn't something you negotiate out loud. It's not something you speak into existence or flash in interviews. Real legends don't chase validation. They move in silence and let time do the talking. What made it sting even more was how effortless it felt. Nas didn't look pressed, offended, or bothered in the slightest. That calm energy sent a message without spelling it out. Comparisons only matter when both sides are playing the same game. And right there, the dynamic shifted. This stopped feeling like competition and started feeling like a reminder. Because when someone at Nas' level barely acknowledges the noise, it forces everyone watching to ask the uncomfortable question: who really needs this moment more? The moment that clip made the rounds, the internet exploded instantly. Fans didn't just react, they picked sides, and timelines turned into non-stop debate zones overnight. This wasn't casual talk anymore. This was catalog versus charts, legacy versus momentum, history versus right now energy. On one side, Nas supporters started lining up the classics, pointing to cultural impact, timeless records, and the kind of respect that lasts decades. To them, this comparison wasn't even close, and the fact it was happening felt wild by itself. On the other side, Jim Jones fans fired back hard. They argued hustle, reinvention, street presence, and relevance in a newer era. They brought up consistency, survival, and the fact that Jim kept himself in the conversation while others faded into the background. Things really went left when a clip surfaced of a younger fan comparing Jim to Nas. That one moment sent shockwaves through both camps. Some saw it as proof that influence looks different to a new generation, while others took it as straight disrespect to history. From there, it was chaos. Comment sections turned into war rooms. Old interviews got dug up, stats got reposted, and every sentence from both sides was being replayed like evidence. At that point, the debate was bigger than the two artists. It was hip-hop arguing with itself in real time. Instead of backing off, Jim Jones leaned in even harder, and this time the frustration was impossible to miss. He made it clear he wasn't joking, wasn't trolling, and definitely wasn't taking anything back. In his mind, people weren't really listening to what he was saying, and that bothered him. Jim started drawing a sharp line between influence and sales, saying straight up that he feels way more influential than Nas, no matter what the numbers say. He spoke on fashion, swag, and presence, arguing that younger fans study his moves, his style, and his survival in the game. Then came the honesty that caught people off guard. Jim admitted he was a fan back in the day. He respected Nas early, especially that first run, the look, the impact at the time. But he also claimed that after a certain point, the connection faded for him, and the music didn't hit the same way anymore. That's when the tone really shifted. What started as confidence started sounding like irritation. Jim didn't just want respect. He wanted acknowledgement for evolving, staying visible, and keeping himself relevant while the industry kept changing around him. And the more he talked, the clearer it became. This wasn't only about Nas anymore. This was about Jim feeling like his journey kept getting minimized, no matter how long he stayed in the fight. That feeling, more than any stat or rumor, is what kept pushing him to speak louder. This is where the argument really separates, and why this moment hit such a nerve. This isn't just about two rappers talking slick. It's about two completely different ideas of success in hip-hop, and they don't mix clean. On one side, you have Nas representing legacy, timeless records, cultural weight, a body of work that doesn't need defending every time a new conversation pops up. His value isn't tied to headlines or deal rumors. It's already stamped in history. On the other side, you have Jim Jones representing motion, visibility, hustle, staying active, staying outside, staying in people's faces in a game that forgets fast. To Jim, survival and relevance are the proof, and that matters just as much as plaques. The problem is, these two scorecards don't line up. Motion demands acknowledgement right now. Legacy doesn't respond on demand. And when those worlds collide, frustration is guaranteed. That's why Nas didn't feel the need to argue stats, and that's why Jim felt disrespected by the silence. One side believes greatness speaks for itself. The other believes if you don't speak up, you get erased. And that's the real tension right here. Not insults, not numbers, not rumors. It's the clash between being remembered forever and being seen today, and hip-hop has never agreed on which one matters more. By the end of it all, the rumored $100 million Roc Nation deal stopped being about money completely. It turned into a symbol, a validation, pride, and how much recognition still matters in a culture built on respect. The silence around that deal spoke louder than any confirmation ever could. For Jim Jones, this moment exposed a deeper frustration. Not anger, not hate, frustration that growth, consistency, and survival still get questioned no matter how long he stays active. When you feel like you earned your spot, being brushed off hits different. For Nas, none of this needed explaining. His response, or lack of one, reinforced the same message he's always moved with. Legacy doesn't chase approval. It doesn't jump into every debate. It waits, because time always catches up. Now fans are watching closely. Does Jim respond with music, bars, or receipts? Or does he let the moment pass and keep pushing forward? Because in hip-hop, silence can cool things down or make the jokes even louder. And this is the last part. If you rock with the breakdown, subscribe to Dripzine, share this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit like. Most importantly, click the hype this video button to help this story grow and reach more people. Thank you for tapping in. Dripzine.